Okay, I just I just looked at what day it was and now I've completely forgotten it. One moment, please. Day 23. I switched it to talk about your schooling. Nowadays it's very common for children to go to pre-K, then to kindergarten, and then on to what we consider the regular schooling. When I was young, kindergarten was not mandatory, so I was sent to a kindergarten at a church, and we're talking about something that happened 43 years ago. But the one thing I do remember is that we made these little mosaics, and the stuff we used to get the little, I guess they were little bits of tile to stick to the little metal plates, smelled funny. And there was a boy who was at the kindergarten, but he was older than the other kids and he was very tough, and I was extremely fascinated with him because he was a bad boy. And I thought that he was just, I mean, he was bad. He was defiant. He didn't do what the teachers told him. He wouldn't sit where they told him, and I just was fascinated by that, because in my family, you did what you were told to do, and you did not question what you were told by an adult, because they were an adult, and you do what adults tell you to do. And of course, this was 1970. So the teacher was always right at this point, which is not true anymore. Then I went first and second grade to a very progressive school called Spring Lake Elementary. We had pods, so all the classrooms were open. They did not have walls. I hated it. There was very little structure. I so need structure. My first grade teacher, because I had just had my first cataract surgery, bless her heart, she was a first year teacher, and she had all these scientific studies and things that she had learned about, and so she thought the best thing for me was to be at my desk right up against the chalkboard so that I could see. Lady, I could see just fine, thank you very much. She gave me this big ass pencil. She gave me special paper to write on. So needless to say, I was not popular in first grade. The children made fun of me when we would go out to recess, and it was pure hell. The only high point is that we kind of rotated around to different areas for the different subjects, and the lady who taught math treated me just like everybody else. So I loved her. Her name was Mrs. North, and she had this long, glossy black hair like Cher. And at recess, she would let us play with her hair. I thought that was so awesome. So I usually sat with her and just braided her hair and stroked her hair, and she would always say, "Oh, Laura, that feels so good. Don't stop." Because she liked it when people touched her hair, I guess. But she was not weird about it. You know, that was kind of, because she would talk to me while I was messing around with her hair. So she really got to know me, and she was a good teacher. Second grade, I don't really remember anything. My teacher had a whiteboard, which was new and exciting. And she had these markers, whiteboard markers, that squeaked on the board when she used them. And another thing I remember about second grade, because my parents were divorced at this point, and so second grade is just sort of this time of, was just just get through the day. But we were not allowed to go to the bathroom during the day, and we were not allowed to get a drink of water, because the school felt that this was time better used on learning. And so if we didn't drink water, then we wouldn't need to go to the bathroom. Yeah, I ended up with a kidney infection because of that and other reasons that I'd rather not go into. Then we moved to where we live now, and I went to a school that was built in 1880, and it is one of the oldest schools in this county. And I was in the original building. There was no air conditioning. The seats, the desks were the very, very old style desks. I mean, they were from the 1880s, and they were bolted to the floor. And I remember the wood floors would creak whenever we walked. And my teacher was wonderful. By then I'd had cataract surgery on both eyes, and she was just wonderful. So my time at that school was pretty good. My third grade teacher was fabulous. My fourth grade teacher was kind of the one who got me started on, I think I need to be a teacher, sort of solidified it for me, because she would lock us in the coat closet, which was this long room in every classroom, and it was dark, and there were 2 doors, and then this rack where you went in and you hung your coat. And yeah, she would slap her hands with a ruler. She had 4 reading groups. The smartest, the best readers, the good readers, the okay readers, and the dummies. Those were literally the names of her reading groups. I started out in the best readers, and then because she was so hideous and such an awful teacher, I ended up with the dummies by the end of the school year. My 5th grade year was again, this school thought they built a new building and went back to the pod system. No. 6th grade, best year of my life. Loved it. Awesome teacher. To get us ready for 7th grade, the second part of the school year, we started changing classes, which was fine. I didn't have a problem with it because we only went to 2 other teachers. And then I went to 7th grade. Oh my God. Talk about culture shock. I hated it. I didn't use my locker. I carried all my bags around, all my books around in this red bag. I was just terrified that I would not be able to find my classes. Was going through things that no child should have to go through. 8th grade was even worse. That was the year that Big Mama was her sickest, and that was the year she died. And I don't think 8th grade is very good for anyone. So after 8th grade, after Big Mama died, her last wish was that I no longer attend public school, but that I go to private school. And she thought that would be better. So I ended up going to a private school, a Christian school, and I was only allowed to go there for 1 year because your entire family has to go. All your siblings have to go. Well, my brother was given a pass because it was his senior year. My sister hated it, so because she hated it and she always gets her way, I did not get to go back. So I transferred to another Christian school, which was so strict, but there were only 10 people in my class, and the 10 of us just very close, had a wonderful time, but you couldn't wear pants. You couldn't listen to rock music. You couldn't watch TV. You couldn't go to the movies. And if you were caught doing these things, even if you were at home or riding in the car with your mom, they gave you a demerit. Needless to say, I had a lot of demerits. The top amount of demerits you could get was 150. I think by the time I graduated, I had 149. And then I waited 10 years and went to college. That was awesome. I ended up at Florida Southern, and that was absolutely the best experience of my life. I visited the school when I was in high school, and I was like, this is where I'm going to go to college, one way or another. It took a few years, but I did end up there, and I had just, oh my gosh, just a wonderful time. It was awesome. And I know I use that word a lot, but it was. My teachers were wonderful. My advisor was the best. He was just so encouraging. He thought I was going to be a fabulous teacher. Everything I turned into him was perfect and wonderful, and can I use it as an example to show what, should be done. So he really, really built up my self-esteem. And being in college really built up my self-esteem, because when I was in school, kindergarten through 12th grade, I didn't make the best grades because I didn't really try. And I got to college, and I ended up on the Who's Who of American Scholars. I made it into 2 honor society I don't know if you'd call them sororities or fraternities, but anyway, I ended up in 2 honor societies. I made the president's list, the dean's list, graduated with honors. There's a dog at my feet. It's Pixie. And it was just a fabulous experience. And so I went into teaching with a lot of great ideas and a lot of confidence. And being at Florida Southern really, really made an amazing difference in the way I felt about myself, in the way I felt about my intelligence level. The psychology class that we were required to take, we had to take an IQ test, and I had the highest IQ in class. He said I had the highest IQ he'd run across in years. It was like 147 or something. So that made me feel really good, because all my life I'd been told I was stupid and I would never amount to anything. And at Florida Southern, everyone there told me the complete opposite, that I was smart and I would do great things. So that's my schooling. And I changed the topic for tomorrow, but now I don't remember what it is. And this has gotten really long. Sorry. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.